Welcome to Tech Talk with Craig Peterson, show number 686. I have a bunch of guests per usual today. We're going to be talking about Small Dog Electronics' new foray here into gift giving. Of course, it's that time of year, so we'll talk a little bit about some of the Apple things that you can get. We're going to be talking about Internet on TV or TV on Internet. Virgin Digital Help. They have personal tech support. We'll be talking with them. Software development training with Pluralsight. I've used their stuff before. It's very, very good. You'll enjoy that interview. We'll be talking about online investments with GemStep today. A little bit about Voice over IP, a brand new app for your iPhone as well as your Android called Vippy, that lets you talk to other Vippy users, have video conferences, make regular phone calls, kind of like Skype. They call themselves the new Skype, in fact. Intertrust is going to join us, talking a little bit about research and development. We'll be talking about volunteer social good out there, some location-based search here for social discovery with Banjo. And also the UCLA Extension will be with us to talk about career development. So it's going to be a fun show. And as always, we're going to start out by talking about a few articles in the news this week. We're going to be talking about what tablet might fit your needs out there. A brand new ECG, there you go, machine that allows your iPhone to actually read your heart. Well, that's kind of cool. We'll talk about Apple sliding to a 5-month low here and what happened with the uncertainty surrounding that. How Obama's data crunchers helped him win. This is all about data harvesting and some of the databases that they had, and this is really applicable to business out there. And also, which smartphone system is right for you? We've got the new Windows 8. We have, of course, the Nexus from Google, as well as other Android phones, and the iPhone. So which one makes sense for you? We'll be talking about that with Heather Kelly over at CNN, a little bit about what she wrote this week. Now, if you want to follow along, you can go to craigradio.com. Right from there, there's a link to Facebook, to Twitter, for my feeds, as well as LinkedIn if you're a business person, and YouTube, so you can watch me. In fact, you can go to YouTube and you can see this monologue here right there on YouTube. Just search for Tech Talk with Craig Peterson. It'll be right there. I have my own channel, post interviews with a bunch of my guests there, as well as my monologues. So you should have some fun with that as well. So craigradio.com in order to kind of follow along. And all of these articles that we're talking about today came out this week, all posted this week on my Twitter feeds, Facebook feeds, and LinkedIn feeds. Of course, depending on what it is, if you're a business person, you're going to want to follow me on LinkedIn because that's where I have all of the business stuff. I have that also on Twitter and Facebook, but I have some other things too besides straight business. So this first article is from USA Today, from Ed Begg. I followed him for quite a while. You might recognize his name, his byline, from a lot of these articles that we do discuss every week. He's written for a few different companies in the past. We had a couple of big announcements and rollouts over the last couple of months here. One of them is, of course, from Amazon. They've got their wonderful Kindle Fire now. You've got the Nook HD. You've got the Nexus as well here, which is, again, that Google phone that is made by a third-party manufacturer. So they've got their tablets, the Nexus 10. I think they've got a 7 and a 5, something like that. Very popular tablets that are out there. Apple came out with their small iPad now, the 7.9-inch mini, and it really, I said iPod because that's kind of what it's like. It's just like a big iPod. So the question is really, what do you want, large or small? The Nexus, which is made by Samsung, has a beautiful 10-inch high-resolution screen. Now, personally, I don't think Samsung's been doing a great job lately with some of their quality control. We'll see how it goes. Of course, they keep trying to improve, which is a good thing. But, you know, I don't know. We'll see here. But it went on sale this week at a bargain price, really, of $400 for the Wi-Fi only model with 16 gigabytes of storage. Or you can double it for very little money here. It's an extra $100. Now, Apple charges $400, so the same price as the Samsung Nexus 10 here. They charge $400 for the full-size iPad 2, which is kind of 2 generations out. And it's nice, by the way, that Apple's selling the older hardware, because frankly the iPad 2 is going to be great for almost anybody out there. Barnes & Noble is releasing a 9-inch Nook HD Plus is what they're calling it. They also have out their 7-inch Nook HD. And now that's interesting because that's a $200 device. That's the same price that Amazon's selling their Kindle Fire for. So the big question is, which is the best one? Well, Ed Begg thinks that he likes the Nexus 10 and the Nook, frankly. He says the Nexus 10 is roughly an inch taller than his 3rd generation iPad. It's a little slimmer, not as wide, and it's about an ounce lighter than Apple's. Of course, again, that's the Google Nexus 10. It's got a lot of really good little features. You can read this whole article if you want to on USA Today, or follow my link from Twitter or Facebook. They've got micro USB, micro HDMI connectors for charging and adding accessories. The 10-inch or 10.1-inch display has a resolution of 300 pixels an inch. That's incredible. 2560 by 1600. The specs are higher than the iPad. It's a great tablet here for watching movies, playing games, reading web pages and magazines, and of course the price is right as well. That's Nexus 10. Now the Barnes & Noble Nook HD is very similar to the Kindle Fire HD from Amazon. It's in a different price category entirely here. As I mentioned, it's about half the price of what you'll pay for some of these nicer, bigger Google Android-based tablets that are out there. The Barnes & Noble Nook HD has a great display here. It's 1440 by 900 pixels resolution, or 243 pixels per inch. Now, the pixels per inch thing is interesting because most of us are used to computer screens with about 70 pixels per inch, maybe 100. So extreme high pixel density, which means that the images are going to be very smooth and very, very crisp on all of these devices that are out there. They're great at reading magazines. In fact, both the Amazon Kindle Fire and the Barnes & Noble Nook HD are optimized for reading books, and they do a very, very nice job on them. Now, Amazon has a feature called Prime, where for about $80 a year, you can get streaming video. It's an all-you-can-eat thing, as long as, of course, it's a video that that's part of the package here. They also provide shipping of books for free and a bunch of other stuff. Very, very nice. Amazon has that. Barnes & Noble doesn't have that, at least not now. There's also what they call X-ray that Amazon has. So you're watching a movie, you can pull up information on, who's that actor on the screen right now? Give me some of their background. I know that person from somewhere. Well, Amazon has X-ray, and it lets you fly in on any actor in any given scene, find out who they are. So that's pretty good, too. And all of these can play various games. You can download things like Evernote and Flipboard and Hulu Plus. Barnes & Noble doesn't have its own music service, so you'd have to use something like Rhapsody. Amazon has it. So there's some of the differences between these. And another important point, by the way, Barnes & Noble did not equip the Nook HD with a camera. So that's a pretty important point. Barnes & Noble says you can read for about 10.5 hours or watch up to 9 hours of video. And there are a lot of different options that you can use here. So bottom line, it's a good idea to look at these. They're both based on the Google operating system. One of them, the Google Nexus 10, which you can get from play.google.com. $400 for the Wi-Fi only 16 gigabytes. A beautiful screen, good price. Con is fewer tablet-specific apps, and the cameras are only fair. The Barnes & Noble Nook HD, of course, no cameras. They are playing catch-up on entertainment offerings and apps, but it's only $200. Excellent display, family account, strong books, periodical and kids contents, expandable memory, all good things. I still prefer the Amazon. I think you've got a better deal with the Kindle Fire. It's same price. They have all of the books that are available, plus they have so much more. They have a lot more available in the app department. They have the all-you-can-eat video. They have music available for just all kinds of stuff. You're listening to Tech Talk with Craig Peterson, going through some articles in the news this week before we get into the interview section of today's show. Very, very cool here. There's a company called LiveCore, and they have an iPhone cover and an app that goes with it that act like a portable electrocardiogram, an ECG, which is something that looks at your heart's electrical activity and reports on it. Now, this isn't a 12 lead like you'd see in a doctor's office, a real fancy one, but it is very nice. It records electrical impulses and heart rhythm, pulls it all together. All you have to do is prop the iPhone on your chest. You place thumbs on two sensors, take a 30-second reading, and then you can upload the data to a LiveCore's cloud. So cardiac patients or people at risk for cardiac disease can self-administer an ECG anytime and send the data to their cardiologists in near real time. Now, I have a picture of it right now. If you go again to my YouTube site, you can get there from craigradio.com, click on YouTube, and you watch this monologue here. I've got it up on my screen. But it looks a lot like a regular old 3-lead ECG machine I used to use when I was doing all the EMS stuff, and I'd do a heart monitor on a patient. Very nice. This is the sort of thing that can save lives, and of course it's all available right on there for your iPhone, so that'll be kind of fun. Little piece of hardware and some software. Shares of Apple, this is from Reuters, slid almost 4% on Wednesday, this is last Wednesday, to a 5-month low as investors grew more uncertain about its ability to fend off unprecedented competition and untangle a snarled iPhone 5 supply chain. Google's Android has really been just beating Apple up something awful in the sales of the two different phones. In fact, Samsung beat Apple in the month before Apple came out with the iPhone 5 with their Android phones. Now, they're doing about 4 times as many Android phone sales as Apple is making in phone sales. So a lot of concern there about Apple long term. Of course, I got some new products. They're very, very good products, but I got to tell you, the Google Android stuff is really catching up, and I'm seriously considering, looking between an Android tablet and an Apple tablet, maybe getting the Android. It's so much cheaper, and it's still excellent. Get that, as I mentioned, that Amazon Kindle Fire. Obama won the election primarily based on getting his message out, and he got the right message to the right people at the right time. How did he do that? That's all by data mining. Data crunchers who started working pretty much 4 years ago, but for the last 2 years have been working very, very hard. So here's an article from Time magazine. I'll just read the first paragraph here. In late spring, the backroom number crunchers who powered Barack Obama's campaign to victory noticed that George Clooney had an almost gravitational tug on West Coast females ages 40 to 49. The women were far and away the single demographic group most likely to hand over cash for a chance to dine in Hollywood with Clooney and Obama. So, as I did with all the other data collected, stored, and analyzed in the 2-year drive for re-election, Obama's top campaign aides decided to put this insight to use. They sought out an East Coast celebrity who had similar appeal among the same demographic, aiming to replicate the millions of dollars produced by the Clooney contest. We were blessed with an overflowing menu of options, but we chose Sarah Jessica Parker, explains a senior campaign advisor. And so the next dinner with Barack contest was born, a chance to eat at Parker's West Village brownstone. Very interesting. Big question, how did they figure out who was the most likely to donate, and how did they contact them? And that's all important for business. They did an excellent job in Obama's campaign for that. Which smartphone system is right for you? Windows 8, which I wouldn't touch yet, not even close, so stay away. Nokia has bet the whole farm on Windows 8. Android on the Nexus, they just came out.